All right. Hi, everybody. It's Hank Linderman. It is Tuesday, July 14th. How many months have we been doing this? The coronavirus. How many months have we been showing up here every day at 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern? I'm your Democratic nominee for Congress here in Kentucky's 2nd District. And I'm very happy to be here because at least we can be in touch this way. And I'm hoping some of you all can hear me. Hope I don't see anybody online yet, but I hope you're there. Anyway, so much to talk with you about. Let's see, I wonder if we're making it. Testing 1, 2, 3, is this thing on? Anybody there? I see no one. Well, I'm going to act as if. There's Mark Andes. Now I know. There's a bit of a delay. Bill McNichol is here, and of course Bill is going to say to everybody, please do us a favor and share this broadcast so we can get some more folks involved here. Well, here I am. I'm sitting out here on the porch. I'm trying to get you a nice view of the lake, but so far iPad isn't cooperating yet. We're working on that, but we're all good. Okay, Mark Maselli is here. Do us a favor and shave and save. You could also shave, Mark Maselli. Glad you're here. And Larry Schott is here. And Larry, you're going to want to stick around for the end of the broadcast because I'm going to play a version of a song that Larry sent me. And Larry, I made a few extra changes. I hope you'll be okay with it. Roy Frazier is here. Johnny Few is here. Howdy, everybody. Do us a favor and save. Well, let's talk about some stuff. Let me go over to daily things. First, as expected, the daily amount of new cases jumped right back up after the weekend. We're at 65,488 cases, and that's certainly a problem. We are not even close to out of this yet. Billy Yates is here. Bill, you need to stick around. I'm going to play a song you might enjoy. And Bill, do us a favor and share this Facebook Live. That would really be a help. I'm trying to get myself as bright as possible. It's so bright outside that the camera gets distracted by it. Bill Jones is here, the infamous 2nd District, full of shut Republicans. I'm not sure what a shut Republican is. I think we're all kind of shut in at this point. Anyway, we're looking at worldometers.info, and this is the information from yesterday. We are still number one. This is not the way we want to be number one. Let's have a look now at Texas and Florida and California are all kind of neck and neck. Florida is leading the charge. Now, I want to show you something to get a look at if you can do it. Look at the total cases per million population. Notice New York has a huge amount at 22,000 because New York had the early surge. California is looking better than that. Florida is pretty high at 13,000, but New Jersey, 20,000, also part of that early New York surge. Arizona, 17,000. These numbers are quite concerning. This is a chart from Johns Hopkins. I find it at nakedcapitalism.com. If you haven't checked out nakedcapitalism.com, you need to. It's a great website. And they are publishing this. They kind of grabbed this from Johns Hopkins. And you can look at Johns Hopkins' website as well. And here's a second fascinating chart from Johns Hopkins. And this is new cases. Now, I want to point out something to you. It doesn't look like that big a deal, right? The United States is seriously above South Korea and above Thailand. Oh, thank you, Hildegard. I'm glad you're here. But because this is a logarithmic scale, notice that at the very bottom you'll see Thailand. They are actually at 5,000, 5 new cases a day. And at the United States, and South Korea is at 10 cases a day, new cases a day. We are at 50,000 new cases a day, and there's no way to show that on a linear graph. So look closely at that, and unfortunately, that's just terrible. Well, I want to talk about this, why we're losing the battle with COVID. I'm trying to move myself out of the way. This is a story about Texas, what's going on in Texas, and it refers to a doctor named Dr. Shah. And you can find this in the New York Times. And I'm only going to cover a bit of this because it's a little bit upsetting. And there's a picture of a nurse, and we're seeing stories, by the way, of people who work in hospitals, people who work providing us with health care, and they are working endless hours. I think this doctor that I'm going to be reading you some stuff from has done more than a month's worth of 16-hour days with no breaks. Early on, the people of Texas did really well. They were able to achieve a month-long stalemate with the pandemic. Notice I've got my Jon Stewart collection of paperwork here. I wish I had Jon Stewart's staff here. It would be really helpful. But Dr. Shah was concerned that their success in Texas would evaporate. The people of Texas and officials at every level were bitterly divided over how to balance public health, on the one hand, and private liberty. And politics was getting involved, and politics had won out too often over sound science. Politics wins out over science, which is just a terrible, terrible thing. As a result, the state's reopening had been hasty and poorly coordinated, and now a month and a half in, case counts were rising and intensive care units were bracing for an onslaught. And as we've seen, Texas is one of the leading states right now. And it's not just Texas. We had a lot of states that locked down in entire cities, and entire states got locked down. But unfortunately, we didn't complete the job. Other countries did this as well. Some countries locked down cities, and they used high-tech surveillance programs. Hi, Michael. I'm glad you're here. Do us a favor and share. In the United States, we had neglected our public health program. Decades of near total neglect had left the entire public health apparatus too weak and too uncoordinated to mount even a fraction of the response of other nations like Germany and South Korea and Australia and New Zealand and Canada and so on. The CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the nation's leading public health department, had stopped holding its own news conferences in early March. Instead, they had updates from President Trump from his daily coronavirus briefings, which offered a cascade of contradiction. Very good writing here at the New York Times on occasion, a cascade of contradictions from President Trump. So, without any clear guidance or coherent national strategy, our states were on our own. We were all on our own. In March and April, governors found themselves bidding against each other for ventilators. In May, several states, not just Texas, raced to reopen. And by late June, case counts were surging in at least 20 of those states. So we did not ever achieve the job of really locking down. We were on track to achieve the least successful coronavirus response in the developed world, which is what we have done. We are number one. We have the highest death toll, the worst projections for late summer and early fall, tens of thousands more deaths by year's end, according to the most trusted models. Now, in the past century, we have found that if we do public health well, it doesn't cost that much money, but if we do public health well, then that gives us the most bang for the buck. We're preventing infection, we're preventing disease. That's the least expensive way to do it. It's not very exciting, maybe, but it's the best way to prevent it. And you would think, that we would spend a bit more on public health because it is so effective, but unfortunately we only spend about 3% of our budget, of our $3.6 trillion total annual healthcare budget. $3.6 trillion. Only 3% of that goes to public health, and the rest goes to clinical medicine, which is great, but clinical medicine is extremely, profitable, and so that's why we tend to lean on it. Now, part of the reason for that discrepancy is that Americans don't like being told what to do. We want to be protected from infectious diseases and dirty water and bad food and crazy gunmen, but not in a way that undermines our freedom. The final quote from this article that I liked, and this is a very in-depth article, remember it's the New York Times, and this is the title of it right here, Why We're Losing the Battle with COVID-19. The people who cure diseases are glorified, but not the people who prevent them. And boy, isn't that true. And prevention is really the better way to go. I mean, prevention, what do we say about the stitch in time saves 9? It just seems like that's the better way to go. There's another issue I'm just going to talk about, because we talk endlessly about the contract for rural and working America. By the way, we have Harper Ann McNeil visiting us from Arizona, and she says she's in a hot zone. I mean a hot zone in so many ways. Yes, indeed. I'm sure I've been in Arizona when it was 118 degrees and with the wind blowing, and it felt like being in a convection oven. But they're having trouble maintaining the virus, maintaining control of the virus. You know, while we talk about that, I'll get back to the contract in a second. What I suspect we're going to have to do is go Godzilla on this virus. We're going to have to shut down the country for at least a month. I think it should be probably prepare for 2 months. Tell everybody, be prepared for 2 if we don't do a good job, and possibly longer if we don't do a good job. But literally go back to shutting down and sending money out to people. In Canada, they paid every adult $2,000 a month, and they were able to shut the virus down, and they are more or less mask free right now and virus free. And also, if you're American, you're not allowed to enter Canada, I don't believe. I'm not positive about that, but a lot of nations are saying that we Americans are no longer welcome in Europe, for example. Jeff Whitman's here. He's going to share us. He says an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, but you make a lot more money on that pound of cure. That's our system right now. Our system is designed to be as profitable as possible, and if we do a good job, that's great. And I'm not complaining about doctors, nurses, what do we call them? Well, anesthesiologists. I'm not talking about the people who work in the hospital. Really, what I'm talking about are drug companies that charge outlandish prices to get outlandish profits, including companies that get investment from the United States. Gilead is a perfect example. They're the ones who own the patent for remdesivir, which can be used to shorten the time that you're sick with COVID-19. It doesn't cure you, but it shortens the time you're sick. A round of that costs $3,200 through private insurance. Never mind that the American people paid $6.5 billion to create it. We paid 80% of that price. Anyway, I think, folks, we're going to have to shut down, and we're going to have to cough up the money to pay people to stay at home. That's what you're being paid to do. That's going to be coming, I suspect. And I don't know if it'll happen while President Trump is still in office or if it'll have to wait until Joe Biden wins. Let's talk about that briefly. There are all kinds of polls indicating that President Trump is in serious trouble, and Democrats even appear to have a chance in Texas. Please, people, I beg you, don't get complacent. Please remain alarmed, remain angry. We talk about this. Getting angry doesn't mean acting like a damn fool. It means using your anger to kind of channel yourself towards doing the right thing. Back to the contract for a minute. You know, we're getting ready to try and open schools across the country, and there's a big discussion about it. Betty DeVos, who is our cabinet-level Secretary of Education, her brother, by the way, is Eric Prinz. He's the one who's in charge of Blackwater. They've changed their name to G. These folks have gotten very, very wealthy off of providing mercenary services and other things. Anyway, Betty DeVos wants us to go back to school without masks and just go for it. This is not going to work because people will get sick. Look at that. Where is number 8 is rural broadband. Now, in much of the United States, 30% of the United States does not have robust broadband infrastructure. Hi, Nancy. I'm glad you're here. And of course, share. We need you to share. So we cannot have kids go back to school online. How are they supposed to take classes online if they don't have decent broadband? Obviously. John Alma Barnett says we need to keep our eyes on the prize. That is exactly true. And John Alma, I hope you'll stick around. I'm going to sing a song you might get a giggle out of. Jen Alma is one of my friends from down in Bowling Green. I saw her this weekend at the Voices of the Community event that I went to, and it was great to see her, but we had to keep our 6 feet distance and wear our masks and do all that. Anyway, folks, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a long way to go. I really want to say to you all, let's get this over with. This November, you got to show up, you got to vote, and just get it over with and vote the D. Push the damn D. And let's just end all this malarkey, because, you know, we have corrupt politicians. Mitch McConnell always complains about how, you know, Democrats are too liberal for Kentucky. Well, I say Mitch McConnell is too corrupt for America. And he's radically corrupt. And his crony, Brett Guthrie, the guy I'm running against, is the same. That guy has gotten wealthy being in Congress. I'm not sure how that's worked, but according to OpenSecrets.org, he's made a whole bunch of money while he's in Congress. And these guys are not going to fix the problems that we have before us. So it's critical that we get rid of these radically corrupt politicians like Brett Guthrie and Mitch McConnell. And you can help by contributing to me. You could contribute to Amy as well, but Amy's got plenty of money. I don't. I could use some help. And I want to say thank you. I got some contributions today, so thank you. Every little bit makes a difference. I also spoke today, by the way, with Teddy Abrams, and Teddy is the conductor for the Louisville Symphony, and he's agreed to come on and talk about music with us. So speaking of music, this could be the end of my musical career performing this song I'm going to perform, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I have to reach over here and get my guitar. I'm going to try and avoid having you see my bicycle shorts, because I'm in my Zoom uniform, which is my very nice Brooks Brothers shirt, but I'm wearing my bicycle shorts because I'm planning on exercising. Give me a second. I'm going to grab the guitar, talk amongst yourselves, send us a question, send us a comment. I'll be right there. Hang on. Alrighty, yes, 576 new cases in Kentucky, which is the second most since we started keeping track. This is a very, very serious time for our country. And you know, today I was on the phone with someone and I said, you know, I really don't have any good news right now, and I was in a pretty awful mood. And John Schott, who comments on this, let's see the shorts, says Carl Wilson. Call me up, Carl, I'll show you the shorts. Oh, what the heck? Here's the cycling shorts. Here we go. There we go. And I'm going to go out on my electric mountain bike and get some exercise in. Let's see. It's only 90 degrees, so the electrical helps. Anyway, we only got 20 of us, but I got to thank Larry Schott for John Schott is how he shows up here. But Larry and I went to school together in Louisville, Kentucky, way back in the 50s or something. Actually, the 70s. And hi, Rain. I'm glad Rain is here. We need a little bit of levity, so here we go. Forgive me, everybody. I can't see your face, you've got a mask on just in case a sneeze is wet. You're just the girl for me, at least as much as I can see as yet. Had it been another week, I might have found the nerve to speak or even asked you on a date. Instead I'll ask if we can Zoom real late. Staring at what you're wearing, imagine tearing your PPE. Staring at what you're wearing, imagine tearing your PPE. Maybe we could meet in quarantine. I'm squeaky clean 'cause I have washed my hands, not touched my face. I'm giving you at least 6 feet of space. Hey, 6 feet of space. I can't see your face, you've got a mask on just in case, 'cause you might cough and spray fine particles. And if you do, then this romance is off. Oh, staring at what you're wearing. Imagine tearing your pee-pee. Staring at what you're wearing. Imagine tearing your pee-pee. Apologies if anybody was offended. Larry, thank you so much. A little bit of levity is not going to hurt us. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern, and I'm so glad you all were here, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay, you all take care.